Okay, so today we'll be putting a Tomei 3-inch titanium exhaust on the 21 Supra. Got it up on the ramps, letting it cool off, but put it into the unpackaging. Alright. So that's the muffler section right there. And if you actually come in a little closer, you gotta look at all these pie cuts and just beautiful welds. Just awesome craftsmanship. I run a couple Tomei exhausts on some of the other cars, but I mean, they're always impressive, well-made exhausts. So what we'll do, we'll kind of just set them off to the side as we go. I mean, it's like crazy how light this is. This feels like maybe a pound. It's crazy. Sure, it's more, but it feels like nothing. Alright, that's the last piece right there. Part of your hanger section for the muffler. And then you got all your exhaust clamps, silencer, which definitely won't be running. And then here's all your titanium springs for fastening. So these don't use flanges, so they slot into each other and kind of overlap, and then you use these spring tensioners, which we'll show you a little bit later how to do that. And then your little bag of some Tomei swag, so a bunch of decals, some other cool stickers, plate frame, emblem. So yeah, alright, well we'll start getting into it. Alright, so car's up on the air on stands. And then the back, do have these little mounting points where you put the stands. And let's take a look what we gotta do back here. Okay, so I mean, this will have a series of different bolts that gotta come out. I mean, this is for the active exhaust. We'll have to disconnect the sensors. We'll have to get this brace out of the way, held in by a few bolts, and then probably underneath this part there's probably a couple screws or bolts we'll have to take out. Alright, so back of the rear exhaust by the exhaust tip is where your sensor is for your active exhaust. When you put in sport mode, adjust the valve. So you're gonna want to kind of get in here at the flathead. It slides down. We'll probably just have to zip tie that out of the way somewhere. Let's see, moving forward. You got your first hanger in the rear. It's like it's all secured by this bracket, which there's a nut there. Looks like maybe a 14 millimeter. But before I go taking all that stuff off, I will go ahead and get this brace out of the way first. Alright, so this right here, these are 13 mil bolts. See what else we got. Okay, looks like there's going to be another piece here, so we're going to probably have to crack this loose. So this won't be held on by much torque at all. It's almost finger loose. Slide out. Shimmy that out of the way. It's down. Just set that off to the side. Alright. We are up by the front of the car. We have a 13 mil here. Then we have a 13 mil nut that secures the pipe to that mounting point. So, alright, so repositioned by the rear of the car. So I've got to get this hanger off. So something's actually pretty impressive about these. You can try and slide it off here using a flathead, but this is all really new, so it'll be pretty hard to do. You can actually just undo the nut and drop this all down, and you can work on it off the car. Same thing, position the light. Same thing back here. Same deal, you can actually just undo the nuts. This will all drop down with it, so pretty nice. We may actually just go that route, and then we can start swapping everything over to the new exhaust. Okay, so on your left-hand side rear, you can get this off. I already loosened that side. It's not down all the way, I just have it loose. And then it'll start drooping, and kind of want to get the jack under here to support the weight. But I'll go ahead and zip this side off now. Alright, so it's supporting. It's got to be ready for it to drop. Alright, get these two nuts out on here.
If you do have a buddy or someone assisting you, they can definitely help you out. Make sure it doesn't slam on the ground or on you. Okay.
So it's off the car, so now I'm just gonna go lower the front jack and then the rear. Not ideal hearing exhaust scratch on the ground. Alright, so the old exhaust is out. If you come take a look, there's a lot of sections that are kind of crushed and flattened out all throughout the design, and probably largely to help with ground clearance. So the new one will be vast improvement, and most importantly, it'll be much lighter. So we'll get the new one, assembling it together. We'll get it on the car. Okay, so what we're doing now, kind of popped up a couple tables just to kind of lay out how we think this should lay. So obviously your muffler section, then we looked at the original exhaust, see where the hangers should line up. So this should be your middle piece, and then coming around to your front, this is where that stud is, and the nut will go underneath it to secure it up. And this will slide in right into the downpipe. So it's kind of the shot right there. We'll start sliding them in, and then if you come take a look right here, so just doing these exhausts in the past, so what I kind of do is you kind of like watch the lines to see how it should like run together basically, so that way it's not, you know, too far left or right. You kind of, it will all get finished, these lines will all kind of line into each other going into there. So start sliding these in, and then another way you can check is where those springs are going to go. That will be straight, and that will secure it in place as well. Alright, so we'll get the harder out, and we'll get that going right now. Okay, so got this part kind of slid in, and we got the clamp in position. So next thing we're going to do is secure the spring. So we're going to latch it from one side to another. You're going to need to get probably some long needle nose pliers or some angled ones like this to kind of grab, and you have to tug pretty good. So I am going to wear safety goggles. I would recommend that just in case something comes loose. You don't want it shooting up in the air and hitting you in the face. So we'll see, this might take a couple tries. And try not to get too frustrated doing this. Be able to hold that part of the exhaust. There we go. So just like that. So this just helps secure it tightly together in case anything were to shift. It's gonna hold it all together basically. Alright, so real quick, I just wanted to see, I mean, how light this thing is. This weighs like, it feels like 2 loaves of bread. I mean, it's like, it's not much. It's like 4 or 5 pounds is all it feels like. But all right, we'll come back to the muffler section. Get the clamp slid on there, line it up, then we'll secure it with a spring here. Okay, so it's all assembled, ready to go. Got the springs on. We're gonna be putting this on the car. Last thing we kind of need to do is we'll bolt this back up on the chassis and then kind of figure whereabouts this slides in. I'm not sure if it goes toward the middle or more toward this side, but kind of figure that out once it's on the car. But all right, let's see what we got. There you go. Very nice, beautiful quality, and crazy light. So definitely pumped to see what this looks like, and more importantly, what it sounds like on the car. So we'll get this fitted up right now.
Got this mounted back up on the chassis, and then to make installation a lot easier, I usually like to spray a little bit of lubricant. That way, installation a lot easier. Get a little more. Okay, perfect.
So we'll take 2 people so we're not scratching up the titanium, and we'll slot it into the downpipe, and then we'll probably secure the nut first to kind of hang that part up. Then we'll slip this one in, and then we'll kind of position that hanger on the muffler, however far over it needs to go. Right over here. So we'll position that depending where it needs to go on the muffler to line in here straight, and then that'll be pretty much it. We'll snug up the clamp up by the downpipe, and then we'll turn it on and see what it sounds like. Alright, so we got the exhaust on in position. You know, with 2 people, it's not too much of a struggle. Pretty much the hardest part is getting to slide into the stock rubber hangers that are so hard they're almost like plastic. So that one's in, and then I'm gonna move on to the front, and I'm gonna go ahead and make sure where the catback slides into the downpipe is all nice and lined up, and then I'll tighten up that nut. It's only halfway tight now, and I'll get the V-band clamp all snugged up where it needs to be. Then probably go over and just wipe the exhaust down with a microfiber before we turn it on.